Good morning. Welcome all of you on Friday, second week of Easter. Today in the liturgy, we will receive the gospel of the multiplication of breads. Let us listen. From the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus went off to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, or of Tiberias, and a large crowd followed him, impressed by the signs he gave by curing the sick. Jesus climbed the hillside and sat down there with his disciples. It was shortly before the feast of Passover. Looking up, Jesus saw the crowds approaching and said to Philip, "Where can we buy some bread for these people to eat?" He only said this to test Philip. He himself knew exactly what he was going to do. Philip answered, 200 denarii would only buy enough to give them a small piece each. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said, "There is a small boy here with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what is that between so many?" Jesus said to them, "Make the people sit down." There was plenty of grass there, and as many as 5,000 men sat down. Then Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and gave them out to all who were sitting ready. He then did the same with the fish, giving out as much as they wanted. When they had eaten enough, he said to the disciples, "Pick up the pieces left over, so that nothing gets wasted." So they picked them up and filled 12 hampers with scraps left over from the meal of 5 barley loaves. The people, seeing this sign what he had given, said, "This really is the prophet who is come into the world." Jesus, who could see they were about to come and take him by force and make him king, escaped back to the hills by himself. The Gospel of the Lord. Multiplication of breads, a story would have been given to us by all the Gospels. Gospel of Mark and Matthew, we can see description of 2 multiplication of breads, one for the Jews, one for the pagans. We have one description in Luke and one description in John. In the Gospel of John, after the descriptions of the event itself, it is a long discourse about the bread of life by Jesus Christ himself, explaining this event, and this explanation will be given us in the next week. The next week in the liturgy, the Gospels will be from John chapter 6, when we have Jesus Christ explaining what this event is all about. This event will be so important that for many of followers of Jesus Christ will be, a deciding moment, and some of them will stop following Jesus Christ after the event. It seems that this event is so beautiful. They wanted to make him a king. Seems it's really the prophet to come. Very joyful event, but some shortly after that will leave and will stop following Jesus Christ. We know also that Judas in his heart will decide to betray Jesus Christ, and the apostles, they will be asked by Jesus if they wish to leave as well. So we see that there will be really very important moment in the life of every disciple. There will be a moment of purification of intention, and hopefully we'll see this on Monday. We see, in the Gospel of John, There are descriptions, or the feast of Passover is mentioned 3 times. Jesus Christ is celebrating these 3 Passovers. One feast of Passover, the description can be found in 2nd chapter of the Gospel of John. Third one, it is in the last chapters of John, is this event what we recently celebrated liturgically, this memorial of that third Passover, when Jesus Christ himself will be sacrificed as the lamb sacrificed for our sins. And on these 2 instances, the first and third Passover described by John, Jesus Christ is in Jerusalem, following the custom, which was, among the Jews, that for that feast everybody was going to Jerusalem. The second description of Passover, Jesus Christ is staying on the desert, the wilderness. There is no descriptions or indication in the Gospel that for this feast, in that particular year, Jesus went to Jerusalem. Why we see the celebration taking place in the desert. Certainly for John, it was very important through this form of writing, presenting the events, to show us that this event will be much more than only feeding the people with bread and fish. This event is something what is pointing towards something much deeper, towards the spiritual food. For us, I think that would be quite interesting to see also that for all of us in this year, the Passover, the Easter have to be celebrated in the desert. That we were as well deprived from opportunity to go to the temple. So in that aspect, we might be united very deeply with this passage of the Gospel. And we see Jesus Christ to his disciples and all the followers in the desert, wilderness, the moment of hunger. Hopefully for all of us, we can see what is in our hearts in this time, what I'm hungry for, what I'm longing for in my life, what in my opinion will fulfill me. It's very, very important to see that. So this is this introduction to the introduction, because this passage is so rich in the meaning that we will need more than this 9 minutes to understand. But it's just first point to see that we are in the desert, and this is the sign. Jesus Christ is with us, and he will provide this event. But after that event, he will provide also interpretation of it. Let us be open to receive more. Have a great day. God bless you.